Are you familiar with the company that's I think it's the top whatever real estate holders and buyers in America right now? I think it's called BlackRock.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, does that worry you?
That they're buying real estate?
They're buying so much fucking real estate.
Yeah. Well, if you're worried about
Like,
BlackRock,
but they're buying residential, like they're buying
yeah.
houses. They're not buying,
So
malls.
just know for every BlackRock, there's 50,000, 500,000 other syndications that you don't know about that are doing the exact same thing. They're just the only one on the news. So what BlackRock is, they're a syndication, which means that you went and you got licensed with the SEC to where you could raise money. So what you do is you go to, insurance companies, you go to people and you get their retirements. You say, hey, you want to make money on your retirements? Um, I can take, hey, you've got, your retirement for all the teachers. How are you going to make money on that? Teachers are out there making 8% on their IRAs or whatever. How are they making that money? Well, you got two ways. You can put it in the stock market, or a syndicator can raise money and say, hey, I'm raising money for this fund and I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy properties. And he's using those non-recourse loans that I was telling you about.
Yep.
And they're out there and they're just buying apartment complexes. They were buying every commercial strip center. And, 50 years ago, mom and pops owned everything. They owned every store, every business. If you're worried about BlackRock owning houses, like that's just the beginning of it. You got to keep in mind that every town you went to, there was a store walking distance, and somebody's dad owned that store. Every dentist was somebody's like little Timmy's dad, and so now it's not that way. Now, Great Clips is also a syndication like BlackRock. Walmart is a syndication like BlackRock.
Is it
Amazon.
though? How are you comparing Walmart to BlackRock? In what way?
So, like Amazon with Jeff Bezos, he raises money. So he's one sole person running a fund that's raising money and taking up all these shops. So just like how BlackRock's taking all the houses, Amazon's taking all the market share for the stores. And it's
Right.
still all going to one person.
So right, that's my point. Like, does that worry you?
Absolutely.
Right.
But once again, you're going to have, I'll say Biden, but it doesn't matter what president stands on the podium and tells you how terrible it is. They made the laws purposely for this. And like they're the ones that made every law. It's not one law. They made every law that made this kind of stuff possible. And so, if you're like into crypto is kind of the same thing. It's like syndications. It's not really, unless you're looking at Bitcoin, everything except for Bitcoin is basically syndications. It's people saying, hey, you can contribute money for these small shares while some guy that you don't know is out spending the money however he wants and is going to do it based off of this API or APY, APR, whatever he's promising you. It works same way with BlackRock and Amazon and any other syndication.
So I don't understand Bitcoin that much, or crypto altogether for that matter. But my concern with BlackRock is the same concern that people have with Amazon, which is monopolizing a certain part of the market, and then they can do whatever the hell they want with the pricing. So like if they own a super large amount of houses, they can mess with they can play with the prices any way they like. They
Absolutely.
can, they can raise the rent, they can lower the rent, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
I agree. Hopefully, if anything, it would contribute to lower prices eventually. And I know you're like, that doesn't make sense, but competition in the bigger spaces usually equate to prices being lower. Like,
right.
Just like Jack in the Box tacos. How are they still 99 cents to this day? I don't know.
Yeah, well, nobody knows what's in those things.
They're inflation proof, but it's hopefully that.
No, but wait, they went up a little bit. No, they're like $1.29 now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Aren't they? My sister and I were just talking about this the other day. I was like, how long before there's no more dollar menu? And she goes, where the fuck have you been? There's already no dollar menu.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't really go to fast food. If I do, I go to Chick-fil-A. They've never had a dollar menu, but I don't think they're 99 cents anymore.
But the biggest thing is I'm hoping that it causes downward pressure on some of these prices. and that it's not collusion to raise them up.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. You know, a great thing the government does is they do break up companies that get too large. But I mean, the government is feeding everything to BlackRock. That's who they were feeding all these bonds to whenever they were doing the repo loans, which, if y'all don't know about, that's what caused all this inflation. It's BlackRock is the government's best friend. And what's funny is the person that runs BlackRock had a lot to do with the 2008 crash. So
Oh, really?
that's great.
How's that?
They were just on a big part of all the bonds that caused that bust.